one of the faculty members of Sharon's Public School, Patna, is here to say something on the topic anger-free schools. Central Board of Secondary Education has asked school authorities to manage anger to ensure a joyful learning environment and happy school. Schools have asked to convert the premises into anger-free zone. A circular in this regard was received by City Schools recently. The circular has come in continuation to Government of India has recently launched Fit India program. The Central Board of Secondary Education asked all its affiliated schools and its school leaders to make efforts to convert all CBSE schools into a no anger zone or anger free zone. As per the circular, in this anger free zone, everyone will try to manage his/her anger, whether it is the school educators, parents, school personnel, or other stakeholders. The best way to teach children the value of freedom from anger is by setting examples ourselves. Some of the simplest changes that could be undertaken for making school an anger-free zone include genuinely smiling at students and teachers, talking to students and everyone around them calmly, not looking at cell phone all the time, practicing breathing exercises by all, practicing mindfulness, giving 20 minutes to self, etc. There can be several other ways to create an anger-free zone. Circular issued by Anurag Tripathi, Secretary CBSE, read, making our schools anger-free zones will help our students in developing affective skills and in eradicating emotions like fear, disrespect, humiliation, and hurt. These are the byproducts of anger. This change in the school environment will help our children become more mentally active and emotionally wealthy. They shall go back home more charged and happy and definitely will want to return to their schools the next day. Children are the heart bringers of change. What they learn in the school, they will teach that to their parents. As part of this initiative, schools have been asked to take up exercises with children to help them overcome their own anger issues and also empower them with tools so that they can help others overcome their anger issues. CBSE mandated to reserve one period per day for health and physical education and also integrate various forms of art while transacting the curriculum for all classes. Through various kinds of sport activities, yoga and art integrated classes, you can create a joyful learning environment in your schools, which will subsequently reduce instances of anger. Simply put, create a joyful environment in your schools to decrease anger issues. I am sure that all our CBSE schools will make this little effort to become anger-free zones and make our children happy, joyous, and active learners to be ready for the future, stated Tripathi. Tips for those who wish to adopt this initiative. Number 1. Test single board. This is an anger-free zone at reception area, strategic location in school. Number 2. Take up teaching experiences. Number 5, announce on social media that you are endeavoring to be an anger-free school by using hashtag CBSE do anger. Number 6, recognize and reward improvement in this area. Control anger before it controls you. We all know what anger is, and we have all felt it, whether as a fleeting annoyance or as full-fledged rage. Anger is a completely normal, usually healthy human emotion, but when it gets out of control and turns destructive, it can lead to problems. Problems at work, in your personal relationship, and in the overall quality of your life. Anger can make you feel as though you are at the mercy of an unpredictable and powerful emotion. What is anger? The nature of anger. Anger is an emotional state that varies in intensity from mild irritation to intense fury and rage. According to Charles Spielberger, PhD, a psychologist who specializes in the study of anger, like other emotions, it is accompanied by physiological and biological changes. When you get angry, your heart rate and blood pressure go up, as do the levels of your energy hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Anger can be caused by both external and internal events. You would be angry at a specific person, such as co-worker or supervisor, or even a traffic jam, a cancelled flight, or your anger could be caused by worrying or brooding about your personal problems. Memories of traumatic or energizing events can also trigger energy feelings. Expressing anger. The instinctive, natural way to express anger is to respond aggressively. Anger is a natural adaptive response to threats. It inspires powerful, often aggressive feeling and behaviors, which allow us to fight and to defend ourselves when we are attacked. A certain amount of anger, therefore, is necessary to our survival. On the other hand, we can't physically lash out at every person or object that irritates or annoys us. Laws, social norms, and common sense place limits on how far our anger can take us. People use a variety of both conscious and unconscious processes to deal with their angry feelings. The three main approaches are expressing, suppressing, and calming. Expressing your angry feelings in an assertive, not aggressive manner is the healthiest way to express anger. To do this, you have to learn how to make clear what your needs are and how to get them met without hurting others. Being assertive doesn't mean being pushy or demanding. It means being respectful of yourself and others. Anger-free school. An anger-free school aims to set benchmark for stakeholders to value freedom from anger. For creating an anger-free school, the involvement of all stakeholders such as students, teachers, non-teaching members, parents and community at large is extremely crucial. Recommendation for students for an anger-free school. Identify the triggers and stressors, self-awareness. Students must identify the problem, root cause, and put into words so that they can act rather than react. Give a reality check and think of potential solution. It is important to think about the situation. Students must think of all the possible solutions like, is it worth getting angry about it? Shall I react to the situation? Then consider the consequences of the solutions. Critical thinking. It is important to critically think of what is likely to result. Staying calm is always a better option. Find healthier ways to express your anger. If the situation is worth getting your reaction, learn to resolve conflict in a positive way. Stay calm by taking care of your overall health. Mental and physical well-being can help diffuse anger. Practice relaxation techniques, exercise daily, develop a hobby, and practice gratitude. Reflecting upon the decision. After you have acted and the situation is over, spend some time reflecting about how it went. It helps you learn better about yourself. It's okay to ask for help. If despite putting these techniques into practice, it's difficult for you to manage anger, it is okay to ask for help. You can ask your parents, teachers, counselors, or specialists, staff and families for an anger-free school. Acknowledge that anger can be perfectly normal. Emphasize that anger can be expressed in a calm and respectful manner. Recognize the difference between anger and aggression. The two are similar and may occur together. Anger may result from frustration, whereas aggression is a negative act intended to hurt someone. Teachers to prevent conditions in the classroom that are likely to induce frustration and or anger. For example, we show that tasks and expectations are appropriate for the students' age and abilities. Teachers to manage emotions in a positive state before facing a class. Identify anger and manage your emotions before reaching the class. Be proactive. Before an angry outburst drops, talk with your class about acceptable and unacceptable ways. Set ground rules. Encourage anger-prone children to avoid situations that will cause anger and help prepare them for situations that may be unavoidable. Teach problem-solving skills. Stress the importance of listening with both eyes and ears, thinking of different ways to solve the problem. Encourage the child to slow down and think before he or she acts. Teaching children techniques of assessing the situation before acting can reduce these behaviors from occurring. Teach basic anger management techniques like deep breathing, keeping journal, etc. Encourage the student to walk away and cool off. This can help him avoid allowing his anger to overcome him. Be an example, model appropriate ways of handling difficult situations and frustration. Give examples of handling by thinking aloud when you are angry. Where appropriate, child when he or she demonstrates problem solving or anger management techniques. It is important to acknowledge the good behaviors as well as the bad. School environment for an anger-free school. Listen to me box. For staff and students to freely express their concerns. Display boards on themes or empathy, tolerance, compassion, etc. Active committees for addressing complaints for display of anger in the school premises. Positive behavior support system in school where reacting calmly to situations should acknowledge in form of rewards. Empathy. A key focus should be on instilling empathy in the ethos of the school environment. Community for an anger-free zone. If you are not a student, staff member, family member of student or any other stakeholders and are visiting school for some purpose, you are requested to follow Visitors Code of Anger-Free School. Display board to be put at vantage points. When tempers flare, do you lose your temper and wonder why? Are there days when you feel like you just wake up angry? Some of it may be the changes your body is going through. All those hormones you hear so much about can cause mood swings and confused emotions. Some of it may be stress. People who are under a lot of pressure tend to get angry more easily. Part of it may be your personality. You may be someone who feels your emotions intensely or tends to act impulsively or lose control. And part of it may be your role model. Maybe you have seen other people in your family blow a fuse when they are mad. No matter what pushes you buttons on things is certain. You are sure to get angry sometimes. Everyone does. Anger is a normal emotion and there is nothing wrong with feeling mad. What counts is how we handle it and ourselves when we are angry. Tools to tame a temper, self-awareness and self-control. Because anger can be powerful, managing it is something challenging. It takes plenty of self-awareness and self-control to manage angry feelings. And these skills take time to develop. Self-awareness is the ability to notice what you are feeling and thinking and why. Little kids aren't very aware of that what they feel, they just act it out in their behavior. That's why you see them having tantrums when they are mad. But teens have the mental ability to be self-aware. When you get angry, take a moment to notice what you are feeling and thinking. Self-control is all about thinking before you act. It puts some precious seconds or minutes between feeling a strong emotion and taking an action you will regret. Together, self-awareness and self-control allow you to have more choices about how to act when you are feeling an intense emotion like anger. Getting ready to make a change. Deciding to get control of your anger rather than letting it control you means taking a good hard look at the ways you have been reacting punch walls, break stuff, hit someone, hurt yourself, or push and show others wrong. For most people who have trouble harnessing a hot temper, reacting like this is not what they want. They feel ashamed by their behavior and don't think it reflects the real them, their best selves. Everyone can change, but only when they want to. If you want to make a big change in how you are handling your anger, think about what you will gain from that change. More self respect, more respect from other people, less time feeling annoyed and frustrated, a more relaxed approach to life. Remembering why you want to make the change can help. It can also help to remind yourself that making a change takes time, practice, and patience. It won't happen all at once. Managing anger is about developing new skills and new responses. As with any skill, like playing basketball or learning the piano, it helps to practice over and over again. The five-step approach to managing anger. If something happens that makes you feel angry, this approach can help you manage your reaction. It's called a problem solving approach because you start with the problem you are mad about. Then you weigh your choices and decide what you will do. Each step involves asking yourself a couple of questions, then answering them based on your particular situation. Let's take this example. There's a party you are planning to go to, but your mom just told you to clean your room or stay home. The red hot anger starts building. Here's what to do. Identify the problem, self-awareness. Start by noticing what you are angry about and why. Put into words what's making you upset so you can act rather than react. Ask yourself, what's got me angry? What am I feeling and why? You can do this either in your mind or out loud, but it needs to be clear and specific. For example, I'm really angry at mom because she won't let me go to the party until I clean my room. It's not fair. Your feeling is anger and you are feeling angry because you might not get to go to the party. Notice that this is not the same as saying mom's so unfair to me. That statement doesn't identify the specific problem that you can't go to the party until you clean your room, and it does not say how you are feeling angry. Think of potential solutions before responding. Self-control. This is where you stop for a minute to give yourself time to manage your anger. It's also where you start thinking of how you might react, but without reacting yet. Ask yourself, what can I do? Think of at least three things. For example, in this situation, you might think, I could yell at mom and throw a fit. I could clean my room and then ask if I could go to the party. I could sneak out to the party anyway. Consider consequences of each solution. Think it through. This is where you think about what is likely to result from each of the different reactions you came up with. Ask yourself, what will happen for each one of these options? For example, yelling at your mom may get you in worse trouble or even grounded. Cleaning your room takes work and you may get to the party late. But maybe that adds to your mistake. With this option, you get to go to the party and your room's clean so you don't have to worry about it for a while. Sneaking out may seem like a real option in the heat of anger, but when you really think it through, it's pretty unlikely you had get away with being gone for hours with no one noticing. And when you do get caught, look out. Make a decision, pick one of your options. This is where you take action by choosing one of the three things you could do. Look at the list and pick the one that is likely to be most effective. Ask yourself, what's my best choice? By the time you have thought it through, you are probably past yelling at your mom, which is a knee-jerk response. You may have also decided that sneaking out is too risky. Neither of these options is likely to get you to the party. So option B probably seems like the best choice. Once you choose your solution, then it's time to act. Check your progress. After you have acted and the situation is over, spend some time thinking about how it went. Ask yourself, how did I do? Did things work out as I expected? If not, why not? Am I satisfied with the choice I made? Taking some time to reflect on how things work out after it's all over is a very important step. It helps you learn about yourself and it allows you to test which problem solving approaches work best in different situations. Give yourself a pat on the back if the solution you chose worked out well. If it didn't, go back through the 5 steps and see if you can figure out why. These 5 steps are pretty simple when you are calm, but are much tougher to walk through when you are angry or sad, kind of like in basketball practice when making basket is much easier than in a real game when the pressure is on. So it helps to practice over and over again. Other ways to manage anger. The 5-step approach is good when you are in a particular situation that's got you mad and you need to decide what action to take. But other things can help you manage anger too. Try these things even if you are not mad right now to help prevent angry feeling from building up inside. Exercise. Go for a walk, run, work out, or go play a sport. Lots of research has shown that exercise is a great way to improve your mood and decrease negative feelings. Listen to music with your headphones on. Music has also been shown to change a person's mood pretty quickly. And if you dance, then you're exercising and it's a two for one. Write down your thoughts and emotions. You can write things in lots of ways. For example, in a journal or as your own poetry or song lyrics. After you have written it down, you can keep it or throw it away. It doesn't matter. The important thing is writing down your thoughts and feelings can improve how you feel. When you notice, label, and release feelings as they show up in smaller portions, they don't have a chance to build up inside. Draw, scribbling, doodling, or sketching your thoughts or feelings might help too. Meditate or practice deep breathing. This one works best if you do it regularly, as it's more of an overall stress management technique that can help you use self control when you are mad. If you do this regularly, you will find that anger is less likely to build up. Talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Lots of times, there are other emotions such as fear of or sadness beneath anger. Talking about them can help. Distract yourself. If you find yourself stewing about something and just can't seem to let go, it can help to do something that will get your mind past what's bugging you. Watch TV, read or go to the movies. Anger can be suppressed and then converted or redirected. This happens when you hold in your anger. Stop thinking about it and focus on something positive. The aim is to inhibit or suppress your anger and convert it into more constructive behavior. The danger in this type of response is that if it isn't allowed outward expression, your anger can turn inward on yourself. Anger turned inward may cause hypertension, high blood pressure, or depression. Unexpressed anger can create other problems. It can lead to pathological expressions of anger, such as passive aggressive behavior, getting back at people indirectly without telling them why rather than confronting them head on, or a personality that seems perpetually cynical and hostile. People who are constantly putting others down, criticizing everything, and making cynical comments haven't learned how to constructively express their anger. Not surprisingly, they aren't likely to have many successful relationships. Finally, you can calm down inside. This means not just controlling your outward behavior but also controlling your internal responses. Taking steps to lower your heart rate, calm yourself down, and let the feeling subside, as Dr. Spielberger notes. When none of these three techniques work, that's when someone or something is going to get hurt. Anger management. The goal of anger management is to reduce both emotional feelings and the psychological arousal that anger causes. You can't get rid of or avoid the things There are psychological tests that measure the intensity of angry feelings, how prone to anger you are, and how well you handle it. But chances are good that if you do have a problem with anger, you already know it. If you find yourself acting in ways that seem out of control and frightening, you might need help finding better ways to deal with this emotion. Why are some people more angry than others? According to Zeri Diffenbecher, PhD, a psychologist who specializes in anger management, some people really are more hot-headed than others are. They get angry more easily and more intensely than the average person does. There are also those who don't show their anger in loud, spectacular ways but are chronically irritable and grumpy. Easily angered people don't always curse and throw things. Sometimes they withdraw socially, sulk, or get physically ill. People who are easily angered generally have what some psychologists call a low tolerance for frustration, meaning simply that they feel that they should not have to be subjected to frustration, inconvenience, or annoyance. They can't take things in stride, and they are particularly infuriated if the situation seems somehow unjust. For example, being corrected for a minor mistake. What makes these people this way? A number of things. One cause may be genetic or physiological. There is evidence that some children are born irritable, touchy, and easily angered, and that these signs are present from a very early age. Another may be sociocultural. Anger is often regarded as negative. We are taught that it's all right to express anxiety, depression, or other emotions, but not to express anger. As a result, we don't learn how to handle it or channel it constructively. Research has also found that family background plays a role. Typically, people who are easily angered come from families that are disruptive, chaotic, and not skilled at emotional communications. Is it good to let it all hang out? Psychologists now say that this is a dangerous myth. Some people use this courage as a license to hurt others. Research has found that letting it rip with anger actually escalates anger and aggression and does nothing to help you or the person you are angry with resolve the situation. It's best to find out what it is that triggers your anger and then to develop strategies to keep those triggers from tipping you over the edge. Strategies to keep anger at bay: relaxation. Simple relaxation tools such as deep breathing and relaxing imagery can help calm down angry feelings. There are books and courses that can teach you relaxation techniques. And once you learn the techniques, you can call upon them in any situation. If you are try. Breathe deeply from your diaphragm. Breathing from your chest won't relax you. Picture your breath coming up from your gut. Slowly repeat a calm word or phrase such as relax. Take it easy. Repeat it to yourself while breathing deeply. Use imagery. Visualize a relaxing experience from either your memory or your imagination. Non-strenuous, slow yoga like exercises can relax your muscles and make you feel much calmer. Practice these techniques daily. Learn to use them automatically when you are in a tense situation. Cognitive reconstructuring. Simply put, this means changing the way you think. Angry people tend to curse, swear, or speak in highly colorful terms that reflect their inner thoughts. When you are angry, your thinking can get very exaggerated and overly dramatic. Try replacing these thoughts with more rational ones. For instance, instead of telling yourself, oh, it's awful, it's terrible, everything's ruined, tell yourself, it's frustrating and it's understandable and I am upset about it, but it's not the end of the world and getting angry is not going to fix it anyhow. Be careful of words like never or always. When talking about yourself or someone else, this and person and demand machines never works. Or you are always forgetting things are not just inaccurate, they also serve to make you feel that your anger is justified and that there's no way to solve the problem. They also alienate and humiliate people who might otherwise be willing to work with you on a solution. Remind yourself that getting angry is not going to fix anything, that it won't make you feel better and may actually make you feel worse. Logic defeats anger because anger, even when it's justified, can quickly become irrational. So use cold hard logic on yourself. Remind yourself that the world is not out to get you. You are just experiencing some of the rough spots of daily life. Do this each time you feel anger getting the best of you, and it will help you get a more balanced perspective. Angry people tend to demand things, fairness, appreciation, agreement, willingness to do things their way. Everyone wants these things, and we are all hurt and disappointed when we don't get them. But angry people demand them. And when their demands aren't met, their disappointment becomes anger. As part of their cognitive reconstructing, angry people need to become aware of their demanding nature and translate their expectations into desires. In other words, saying, I would like something is healthier than saying, I demand or I must have something. When you are unable to get what you want, you will experience the normal reactions: frustration, disappointment, hurt, but not anger. Some angry people use this anger as a way to avoid feeling hurt, but that doesn't mean the hurt goes away. Problem solving. Sometimes our anger and frustration are caused by very real and inescapable problems in our lives. Not all anger is misplaced, and often it's a healthy, natural response to these difficulties. There is also a cultural belief that every problem has a solution, and it adds to our frustration to find out that this isn't always the case. The best attitude to bring to such a situation then is not to focus on finding the solution, but rather on how you handle and face the problem. Make a plan and check your progress along the way. Resolve to give it your best, but also not to punish yourself if an answer doesn't come right away. If you can approach it with your best intentions and efforts and make a serious attempt to face it head on, you will be less likely to lose patience and fall into all or nothing thinking, even if the problem does not get solved right away. Better communication. Angry people tend to jump to and act on conclusions, and some of those conclusions can be very inaccurate. The first thing to do if you are in a heated discussion is slow down and think through your responses. Don't say the first thing that comes into your head, but slow down and think carefully about what you want to say. At the same time, listen carefully to what the other person is saying and take your time before answering. Listen to that to what is underlying the anger. For instance, you like a certain amount of freedom and personal space, and your significant other wants more connection and closeness. If he or she starts complaining about your activities, don't retaliate by painting your partner as a jailer, a warden, or an albatross around your neck. It's natural to get defensive when you are criticized, but don't fight back. Instead, listen to what's underlying the words. The message that this person might feel neglected and unloved. It may take a lot of patience, questioning on your part, and it may require some breathing space. But don't let your anger or a partner's later decisions spin out of control. Keeping your cool can keep the situation from becoming a disastrous one. Using humor. Silly humor can help diffuse rage in a number of ways. For one thing, it can help you get a more balanced perspective when you get angry and call someone a name or refer to them in some imaginative phrase. Stop and picture what that word would literally look like. If you are at work and you think of a co-worker as a dirtbag or a single cell life form. For example, picture a large bag full of dirt or an amoeba sitting at your colleague's desk. Talking on the phone, going to meetings, do this whenever a name comes into your head about another person. If you can draw a picture of what the actual thing might look like, this will take a lot of the edge of your fury. And humor can always be relied on to help unknot a tense situation. The underlying message of highly angry people, Dr. Defend Becher says, is things oughta go my way. Angry people tend to feel that they are morally right, that any blocking or changing of their plans is an unbearable indignity and that they should not have to suffer this way. Maybe other people do, but not them. When you feel that urge, he suggests, picture yourself as a god or goddess, a supreme ruler who owns the streets and stores and office space, striding alone and having your way in all situations while others defer to you. The more detail you can get into your imaginary scenes, the more chances you have to realize that maybe you are being unreasonable. You will also realize how unimportant the things you are angry about really are. There are two cautions in using humor. First, don't try to just laugh off your problems. Rather, use humor to help yourself face them more constructively. Second, don't give in to harsh, sarcastic humor. That's just another form of unhealthy anger expression. What these techniques have in common is a refusal to take yourself too seriously. Anger is a serious emotion, but it's often accompanied by ideas that, if explained, can make you laugh, changing your environment. Sometimes it's our immediate surroundings that give us cause for irritation and fury. Problems and responsibilities can weigh on you and make you feel angry at the trap you seem to have fallen into and all the people and things that form that trap. Give yourself a break. Make sure you have some personal time scheduled for times of the day that you know are particularly stressful. One example is the working mother who has a standing rule that when she comes home from work, for the first 15 minutes nobody talks to mom unless the house is on fire. After this brief quiet time, she feels better, prepared to handle demands from her kids without blowing up at them. Some other tips for easing up on yourself. Timing. If you and your spouse tend to fight when you discuss things at night, perhaps you are tired or distracted, or maybe it's just habit. Try changing the times when you talk about important matters so these talks don't turn into arguments. avoidance. If your child's static room makes you furious every time you walk by it, shut the door. Don't make yourself look at what infuriates you. Don't say, well, my child should clean up the room so I won't have to be angry. That's not the point. The point is to keep yourself calm, finding alternatives. If your daily commute through traffic leaves you in a state of rage or frustration, give yourself a project. Learn or map out a different route, one that's less congested or more scenic, or find another alternative such as a bus or commuter train. Do you need counseling? If you feel that your anger is really out of control, if it is having an impact on your relationship and on important parts of your life, you might consider counseling to learn how to handle it better. A psychologist or other licensed mental health professionals can work with you in developing a range of techniques for changing your thinking and your behavior. When you talk to a prospective therapist, tell her or him that you have problems with anger that you want to work on and ask about his or her approach to anger management. Make sure this isn't only a course of action designed to put you in touch with your feelings and express them. That may be precisely what your problem is. With counseling, psychologists say a highly angry person can move closer to a middle range of anger in about 8 to 10 weeks, depending on the circumstances and the techniques used. What about assertiveness training? It's true that angry people need to learn to become assertive rather than aggressive, but most books and courses on developing assertiveness are aimed at people who don't feel enough anger. These people are more passive and acquiescent than the average person. They tend to let others walk all over them. Now, at the end of this session, it can be said that we can control our anger by following these 10 management tips. The first one is think before you speak. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to say something you will later regret. Take a few moments to collect your thoughts before saying anything and allow others involved in the situation to do the same. Second, once you are calm, express your anger. As soon as you are thinking clearly, express your frustration in an assertive but non-confrontational way. State your concerns and needs clearly and directly without hurting others or trying to control them. Third, get some exercise. Physical activity can help reduce stress that can cause you to become angry. If you feel your anger escalating, go for a brisk walk or run, or spend some time doing other enjoyable physical activities. Fourth, take a time. Timeouts aren't just for kids. Give yourself short breaks during times of the day that tend to be stressful. Fifth, identify possible solutions. Instead of focusing on what made you mad, work on resolving the issues at hand. Sixth, stick with I statements to avoid criticizing or placing blame which might only increase tension, use I statements to describe the problem. Seventh, don't hold a grudge. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. If you allow anger and other negative feelings to crowd out positive feelings, you might find yourself swallowed up by your own bitterness or sense of injustice. But if you can forgive someone who angered you, you might both learn from the situation and strengthen your relationship. Eighth, use humor to release tension. Lighting up can help diffuse tension. Use humor to help you face what's making you angry and possibly any unrealistic expectation you have for how things should go. Avoid sarcasm, though it can hurt feelings and make things worse. 9. Practice relaxation skills. When your temper flares, put relaxation skills to work. Practice deep breathing exercise. Imagine a relaxing scene or repeat a company word or phrase such as take it easy. You might also listen to music, write in a journal, or do a few yoga poses. Whatever it takes to encourage relaxation. Number 10. Know when to speak help. Know when to seek help. Learning to control anger is a challenge for everyone at times. Seek help for anger issues. If your anger seems out of control, causes you to do things you regret or hurts those around you. With this, I want to thank you all. Thanks again for listening to me so patiently. Thank you so much.